Media. As promised, joining us now is Steve Forbes, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Forbes Media, of course, former presidential candidate and author of a great new book, a very important new book. There it is on your screen, Reviving America, How Repealing Obamacare, Replacing the Tax Code, and Reforming the Fed Will Restore Hope and Prosperity. Steve, great to see you, sir.
Good to see you,
Merry
Steve.
Christmas to you.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So before we get to the book, when you hear that kind of nonsense, why is it everything the Republicans put forth as a plan to stop ISIS, oh, we can't do that, it's a recruitment tool for ISIS, he's helping ISIS. Isn't Obama the one actually helping ISIS survive?
Well, this is why the president's in trouble, and I think he's going to get in more trouble in 2016, is the American people don't feel he's doing enough. I think even members of his own party in Congress are getting a queasy feeling he's not doing enough. Focusing on gun control, for example, France and Belgium have plenty of gun control. California's got plenty of gun control, and yet these people had warehouses of weapons, grenades, rockets, and everything else. So the president clearly is not changing policy. He changed rhetoric. Finally, after 6 years, he recognized that Fort Hood was not workplace violence,
yeah,
but terrorist attack. But the American people don't trust the government. They don't trust this president on security.
And what about Trump's plan specifically? I mean, I think if he phrased it differently, and now he seems to, in his explanation, to have changed the definition without changing the words, when he says not all Muslims and it'll be exceptions, but if you just said stop people from coming in to this country until we could figure this all out, I think an overwhelming majority of Americans agree with that.
Well, people want vetting, and that's why they want the FBI involved. Clearly, we didn't do a very good job before in this day and age, and so they want something that is a little more secure. And the American people are going to demand it, and I think that's one reason why the Democrats are worried, is that this president still doesn't get it.
And Hillary is not much different from this president when she says Muslims have absolutely nothing to do with terrorism. What do you expect tonight at the debate? Here's Donald Trump, big national lead in all the polls, trailing in Iowa in most of the polls, and you got Cruz now standing next to him who's gaining. What are you looking for?
Well, what's amazing about Iowa is that Trump didn't collapse. He went up a little bit, but Cruz surged. He got a lot of support from Ben Carson. Also, undecideds came his way as well. And so an interesting thing is going to be, will that happen in New Hampshire and some of these other states? Trump keeps his support, but somebody else gets the rest, a lot of the rest.
Especially as others might drop out.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or are forced to drop out.
Yeah.
Pushed out, you might say.
Well, I would like to see some of that.
And so the question tonight is, will Trump go after Senator Cruz? Will Senator Cruz, in effect, ignore Trump and parade his own credentials? Because one of the things going to happen tonight, in a way that really hasn't happened with the intensity before, everyone's going to look at each of those candidates and say, or ask, is this a commander-in-chief? Can this person rise up and do what needs to be done to secure us in this world? The way they did back in 1980 with Ronald Reagan after the Iranian hostage crisis. Is this man capable of being commander-in-chief? And so you're going to have that as a substrata, even if they talk about domestic policy. So you have Cruz versus Trump. The other thing is, in the so-called establishment lane, you've got Senator Rubio. Will he be able to break out tonight? Can Governor Christie play off of his endorsement of the union leader in New Hampshire and come out tonight? Will he go after Trump? And Kasich, can he get a new breath of life?
Did you write this promo for CNN? Because you're making it very intriguing to watch the debate.
Well, millions are going to do it,
yeah,
and
sure.
in a way that I think people are beginning to recognize the stakes of this election are huge. The economy, to use a French word, sucks, and so the world looks like it's falling apart. Who can lead us? Who can get this back on track again?
Perfect segue into your book, Reviving America. Let's say we have a Republican president. Are the Republicans, as they're constituted right now with the current leadership in the House and the Senate, are they capable of following through on what you present in your book?
If you have the right president, yes. Ronald Reagan demonstrated that back in 1980. Yes, the Republicans did get control of the Senate, but not a filibuster majority. And they also did not have control of the House of Representatives in those days. But Reagan got the mandate from the public, vigorously pushed it through. He knew how to negotiate. He learned that from his Hollywood days. He was willing to engage, take 80% instead of my way or the highway approach, as a certain other president does these days, and got it through. The key thing is, will the president see it right? And that's one reason why we wrote this book. 3 big things, 3 big reforms. You get those right. by golly, this country's going to come roaring back, just as in the early 80s. What people forget, Steve, in the early 80s, the economists said it would take years for the economy to recover. Boom, overnight, do the right things, we blossom.
And Steve, we're in a situation where if your book does not become the roadmap for how this country will proceed going forward with a new president, that means it's going to be more of the same with a Hillary or the wrong Republican president even, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse to the point where maybe we won't be able to come back.
Well, the thing about one, we got to keep in mind we can vigorously come back, but it's not just for our own safety and our own economy. The world is looking to us, and if we get it right, the rest of the world has a chance to get it right, and that's the key thing. When Reagan cut those taxes in the early 1980s, 50 countries followed suit.
Yeah.
So success begets success.
All right, let's talk about Obamacare real quick. How you know, and we've heard, I mean, even some Republicans in the leadership basically say, we can't, Obamacare is here to stay. We could tweak it, but we can't get rid of it. It's too late. Is that accurate?
No. If you don't want to hurt Obama's feelings, you can do what they used to do with those buildings: keep the facade and gut the inside.
Right, put up
and
a
so
window.
get rid of the employer mandate, get rid of the individual mandate, get rid of these mandates in terms of what you're allowed to buy and not to buy in terms of health insurance.
Right.
We suggest some very basic reforms. In addition to nationwide shopping for health insurance, so you have hundreds of companies compete for your business, require that hospitals and clinics post their prices, so you can see what it actually costs. Transparency, great thing in healthcare. We don't have it today. Hospitals post each month how many patients died from infections patients got after they're admitted to the hospital. Get their act together. So you put these basic reforms together, and you'll turn what looks like a hopeless liability into the greatest growth industry ever, because healthcare is the most personal thing.
Absolutely, and I neglected to mention Steve is one of the founding members of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity as well, which has done some great work with Stephen Moore and Larry Kudlow and others. It's all in the book, folks, the blueprint for reviving America, whether it's Obamacare, repealing it and replacing the tax code, reforming the Fed, and how it will restore hope and prosperity. From your words to our leaders' ears. Thank you, sir.
Steve, thank you. Appreciate it.
Steve Forbes, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, the Malzbderg panel with Dennis Michael Lynch and Rick Unger. Don't go away.